Hey guys, it's Ren from Make It by Ren, and if you want to see my airbrush tutorial, stay tuned for more. Hey guys, it's Ren. So I am back with another tutorial, and I've been meaning to do this one for a while, and it's going to be an airbrush tutorial. I had previously filmed one before, but I didn't really like the way it turned out, so I'm back with another one. Today I am featuring some products from Graftobian, one of my favorite professional makeup lines. And in terms of airbrush equipment, I currently have a Temp 2 airbrush system, and it has a gun, and I got this because it came like in a Temp 2 starter kit, and this thing's pretty heavy. It's at least like 5 to 7 pounds. I've taken it with me when I've done gigs, and it's a little bit huge and inconvenient to carry around, so I got this really cool new item from Graftobian, and it's a Graftobian Walk-Around System. And look how little it is in comparison. And I can carry it with one hand. It feels really light. It's like 2 pounds. And there is no plug. So this is really convenient if you're an airbrush artist that likes to travel with their airbrush system. And it does come with a plug system, so you can plug it in, but if you don't have access to an electrical outlet, which is often the case, it's just a portable airbrush system. And it's really little and really compact, so it's so convenient for packing it up in your kit. So the really cool thing about Graftobian and their airbrush makeup is that they have the Glam Air Airbrush Beauty Makeup, and it corresponds exactly to their high definition Glamour Cream foundations. So this, for example, is the shade Buttermilk, and this is Buttermilk right here. So they're exact matches. I think that's such a great idea, because when you do airbrush makeup, a lot of times you're going to put down some concealer and a little bit of base too to kind of correct before you do airbrush. And you can use the exact corresponding color, and you don't have to worry about matching. And the formula, they go well together. You can't always put any foundation underneath airbrush makeup because they won't mix. So these are meant to go together. So I think that's a brilliant idea. And if you get an HD sampler pack, like this, it will come with 5 of the Glam Air colors and 5 of the colors in the cream palette form. So that's just such a great idea. I wish everybody would do that. Today I am going to airbrush myself to show you how to do it. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I have my hair up because you're going to want to get everything off your face so you don't airbrush any loose hairs that are poking out. And my skin is already moisturized with the Graftobian Oxyderm Moisturizer. I definitely recommend this moisturizer. It's amazing and it's great for anybody. KJ Bennett has it in my kit website as one of the must-have moisturizers. So I have that primed, and just from experience, if you have really oily skin, particularly your eyes, it does not hurt to prime before you go ahead and moisturize. I've done my friend before, and she had really oily skin, so I put a little Urban Decay primer, push it on her lids before I airbrush. OCC Makeup makes a really good oil control primer as well, so you should check them out. So let's go and jump into the makeup. So first off, like I mentioned, you're going to want to conceal and correct any discolorations. In particular, you're going to want to hit areas like here where you have dark under eye circles or any like acne scars or marks. And the reason you're going to want to do that is because you don't want to have too thick of a layer of airbrush makeup on. You want it to look natural and airbrush, so it helps to conceal and correct beforehand. So I'm going to take this palette, it's the Cool Palette number 1. And I'm going to get a little bit of one of these foundations, and they're kind of pink toned, so that works well as an under eye corrector because the pink will cancel out any darkness. And I am going to just apply a little bit under my eyes, right here, I'm using my concealer brush SS194 from Sigma Makeup. Okay, so I just have a little bit of concealer on over here. And remember, like I said, moisturizing is really important. If you have any dry patches on your face, that makeup's going to cling to it more and it's not going to look cute. So make sure your skin is nice and moisturized. And I have this part concealed. If you have any other areas that are showing up a little more that you want to conceal, like any scars or acne marks, just go ahead and cover them. And you can go back and match your exact same shade if you want. I'm in between Desert Sand and Golden Sunset, these two colors right here. So I'm going to take a little bit of that, and just to show you that it's going to blend really well, I'm going to apply a little bit on my cheeks where I have a little bit of redness already. This is optional, but I'm just showing you how the products go well together. So I'm covering up a little bit of the red on my cheeks. And like I said, these are made to go together, so you can actually not worry about the airbrush makeup mixing with this cream foundation and getting all messed up. So I kind of smoothed out my cheeks a little bit because I tend to have redness there. So now I'm going to do the airbrush. So let me go ahead and explain the system. Here's the system right here, and as you'll see, this is the little battery pack, and it can actually be detached, so they can be separate, but it has a convenient little holder right here, so you can keep them together. And it just comes, and you just plug it in to the back of the actual airbrush part, the airbrush compressor part, and it has this little section here, which is the airbrush gun holder. So when you're not working, you can put the gun in here. And this is where you attach your hose. I have just a little rubber hose in here. And this is the on and off button, this little white button right here. So you can go like on and off. And the airbrush itself is actually pretty cool. This is a Sparmax SP35FS. And it's like a normal top feed airbrush, except this part's a little bit different. So usually with airbrushes, you control the PSI or the pressure on the compressor, but on this one you would control it on the actual airbrush gun. So this little knob here, if you turn it to the right, the more tighter it is, the less pressure you have, and as you turn it to the left, it gets more and more higher of a pressure. And I guess this is good because since it's a travel airbrush machine, the controls don't necessarily have to be on the compressor. It's actually really conveniently right here on the airbrush. So whenever you're done with the airbrush, just make sure to release the pressure before you turn everything off. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I have here Golden Sunset and Buttermilk, and I'm actually in between these two shades. I'm more between Desert Sand, and the outer edges of my face are a little bit darker, particularly my forehead, so Golden Sunset would be good for that. So I'm just going to instead use a combination of both since I don't have that middle shade. And these are water-based airbrush makeup formulas, by the way. So it's very light and you can remove it easily with soap and water. It doesn't have any silicone in it. So if you spill this on your clothes, it easily comes out. So make sure to shake them really good. All airbrush things have little beads in it, so it shakes it up. And I actually really like these caps because a lot of times the caps are, you have to unscrew it, but these ones, you just go like this and you can get the formula out. And I really like that because it's more convenient. You don't have to worry about losing the caps. So I'm going to take my Golden Sunset and do a few drops, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to do, just to kind of lighten it up a little bit because it's a little bit too tan for the inner sides of my face, I'm going to add about 3 to 4 drops of the buttermilk. So I'm going to go ahead and put my cap back on so I don't spill this all over myself. Some people work without a cap, but I'm going to put it on. And let me explain to you how this works. So here is the hose. Like I said, this is the actual airbrush gun. This is where it sprays out, and it has a tiny little needle in there, so you have to be really careful about handling this with care, because if the needle gets bent, your whole airbrush won't work. This back side, you can remove it, and then you can see the needle right here, the end of it, so that's where it is. This isn't the dual action airbrush, which is the kind that if you just press it down, you can get air and then you release and you get paint. This is just the single one where it moves back. So now we have the paint in here. What we're gonna do is turn on the machine by pressing the little white button like I showed you before. And this is where you're gonna get the pressure. So it's right now it's at 0 pressure because there's nothing coming out when I pull it back. So I'm gonna open this by turning it left. You can hear the pressure coming out. And now what I'm going to do is do the bubbling back method, where I put my finger in front and I push it back a little bit, and I'm going to mix the two colors like that. See?